Hey guys, today I'm coming at you from my office again, and I got an email from a student of mine, Jenny Quiner, who's actually like one of my all-star students. Jenny is totally crushing it, wearing a shirt of hers for her farm, Dog Patch Urban Gardens, and they're in Des Moines, Iowa. And she's done extraordinarily well. She has a really compelling story about how she started this farm and then it sort of morphed into this aggregator, a distributor type model where they're growing some of the product and they're also buying some product from other growers and redistributing it. Similar to what I read about in my book, actually, and what I've also done myself. But she has come into this ridiculous hang-up with the county government there that is imposing these insane regulations on them. And I'll read some of this press release that she's put out, and I'll also link to it below. They've got a GoFundMe campaign to help them with this. But, you know, I kind of want to speak to the broader issue here of this whole thing. It's just another example of government getting involved in things and providing no value and also creating an extraordinary amount of waste. So some of the stuff they want them to do is, so they're basically, the government here is saying, the county government is saying that they need to put in $75,000 of imposed infrastructure changes resulting from misinformation from their county. And so basically they want them to like tear up concrete and then repave it. And just, it's absolutely absurd. And one thing I want to say about this is that people like us have to take responsibility for these kinds of things, because a lot of people who are well-meaning and good people vote for this kind of bullshit. We ask politicians to do things like this because there's some you know, with laws and regulations, how it basically works is somebody makes a dumb mistake somewhere and then some politician comes and says, I'm going to fix that so that never happens again. But that never works, right? You can't stop people from making dumb mistakes. So the regulations just get continuously and continuously longer. The pile of zoning and bylaws and all this garbage gets endlessly longer, and it never gets easier, so it gets more complicated to navigate, and you need to pay more lawyer fees just to navigate, because the lawyers are basically the gatekeepers to how to understand all this gobbledygook. So anyways, this whole thing is insane. So let me just read some of this for you, but again, I'll leave the link below, and I would encourage any of you who are in the state of Iowa, particularly in the Des Moines area, to help Jenny if you can, and help her be a voice for changing this ridiculous changes that they've imposed on her. So check this out. Dear local government, actions speak louder than words. Dog Patch Urban Gardens is a female-ran urban farm located in Des Moines, Iowa. The farm is facing major hurdles due to changes in policy/regulations by the local county. Des Moines, Iowa, February 18th. Dog Patch Urban Gardens is a urban farm in Des Moines, Iowa. We just finished our second growing season, and in 2018 we are facing more than $75,000 in imposed infrastructure changes resulting from misinformation from our local county. In 2 years of business, Dog Patch Urban Gardens has produced over 12,000 pounds of organically grown produce for people in Des Moines. The farm is enhancing the community, yet the financial burdens of the county are making it hard for the business to be successful. In January, I was featured in the Des Moines Register as a person to watch in 2018. If you get this press release, you'll see a link to that. Sadly, these challenges are not unique to our farm. When I talk with other farmers, many of them are also faced or currently are experiencing hardships as a result of unclear obligations to their local governments. Urban farming is especially challenging because we are doing something outside the norm. This makes zoning policies and regulations challenging. Now, I can fully understand where they're coming from there. It's been a similar situation for me here. Though I haven't had these kinds of imposed infrastructure changes. To make a long story short, our county originally treated our business using residential building codes. A year after our operation was up and running, the county changed their stance and has decided to require that the business now adhere to commercial codes, yet not rezoning us from residential. This is in opposition to the farm stand classification, which is, I guess, which they're under, which is how we are categorized in our county, and were the guidelines we were told to follow. With the change in classification to a commercial business, we are being required to add public restrooms, new septic they got to dig, fencing, water retention berms, and landscaping. We also must, this part's insane, we also must demo and repave surfaces, create a site plan, and more. While we still meet the county's definition of a farm stand, they told us that we no longer classified as such and we must comply with their commercial building requirements. These struggles with our government seem contradictory. The state of Iowa is part of the healthiest state initiative. That's in quotations. And the main page on the website says Iowa is number 19 in the nation when it comes to being physically, emotionally, and mentally healthy. Our ranking has moved since the initiative was announced, but our overall well-being score has been fairly constant the past 5 years. To claim the #1 spot, we would have work to do. It's an ambitious goal, but with our help, with your help, we can change Iowa and show the rest of the nation the road to wellness. If the state of Iowa is placing such an emphasis on health, it seems natural for the state to want to facilitate an urban farm. That seems like a no-brainer to me. Our farm provides access to healthy, organically grown food, beautifies the land, provides employment and volunteer opportunities for people to be physically active, provides educational opportunities about growing food, and more. Having an urban farm in the neighborhood exemplifies what a healthy state initiative is trying to promote. So I'll leave it there, and I'll leave the rest down there. I'll have the link to Jenny's GoFundMe campaign. Help them out however you can. If you feel like making a small donation, or you are near the state of Iowa, or if you're a person who's worked in policy and you might be able to help them navigate some of this nebulous territory. This is just crazy. You know, it's kind of never ending, all these government regulations. It's just like nobody ever really wants less government regulation. One of the challenges with this is that it's hard to get elected on saying you're going to cut regulations, because you're not increasing jobs for anybody. You're not, in fact, you might be taking away jobs from people. You know, you're not promising free stuff. You know, the best way to get elected is to promise a bunch of free stuff to the most amount of people. Whether you actually do that or not doesn't really matter. In 4 years, people kind of forget, and then you blame it on the next guy coming in, or the new guy blames it on you. You know, it's this cycle of bullshit, and this stuff just drives me nuts. I'm hoping that people will see this as a systemic issue. The fact that government never gets smaller, it only grows. It's like a virus, and it's just consuming everything. I don't want to rant too long about it, but the information is below. Follow them, help them out, show some support in any way you can, and I'll talk to you guys later.